Thanks very much, Rob. Now, US President Donald Trump has signed an executive order imposing an additional 25% tariff on India, taking the overall rate to 50% over India's purchases of Russian oil. Now, in the order, Trump said that he had found that India was currently directly or indirectly importing Russian federal oil, with a new tariff rate expected to go into effect in 21 days. For more on this, let's get reaction from SABC News correspondent who's in Delhi, Neha Poonia. Neha, a very good morning to you. I mean, this is, I imagine, a devastating thing to hear for India, but talk to us about the reaction and where to from here.
We've just heard from Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on what is his first on-record comment on the Trump tariff threats that have now been playing out for several days. He said that India will prioritize the interest of its farmers and that it's ready to pay a heavy price. This seems to be a reference to the ongoing trade talks between India and the US. There's been, a big disagreement over allowing American agricultural imports into India, something India has been resisting, and experts say that's what led to the trade talks collapsing between New Delhi and Washington DC, even though trade talks between both sides started soon after President Trump assumed office. And now we have this comment from the Indian leader, the first confirmation that in fact was why these trade talks broke down. But the signaling here is important. Experts say that it's coming just hours after President Trump announced that 50% levy, which is one of the highest in the world. And the message from India is that it will not back down, that this will not mean that it will then give in to a trade deal that will see it compromising national interests. We've also heard from the Ministry of External Affairs. They've called Trump's tariffs unreasonable and unjustified, saying that it's wrong that this sort of action is being taken against New Delhi when other countries who also buy Russian crude are not being penalized, a reference to China, which is Moscow's biggest buyer of oil. But the sense also is that India will continue to buy Russian oil because experts say that it won't have any alternate supply lines to pivot to immediately, and it was the US, the Biden administration, that forced New Delhi to buy Russian oil to stabilize crude prices globally. So for now, New Delhi, taking that very defiant note, and this means that we're now seeing what is likely an extended standoff between India and US, countries that were once considered, strategic partners.
Yeah. Is there a sense, I mean, certainly here in South Africa, that's something we've been grappling with as well. Our deadline and tariff increase set to come in at midnight. So, this is something that South Africa is also grappling with. There's also talk about, it seems that the US government, and particularly obviously US President Donald Trump, has it in for BRICS countries. Is there a sense that that is also the messaging in India?
Absolutely. I mean, what experts have been saying is that, there was talk initially that perhaps India would have given in and allowed American imports, coming into the agricultural sector. Perhaps that would have taken some of the heat off this entire conversation about importing Russian crude. But the realization increasingly, experts say in India, is that, New Delhi needs to pivot towards friendlier countries. I mean, we've heard from, Brazil. They're talking about calling a meeting of BRICS nations to discuss Trump tariffs, something that was discussed in the recent summit as well. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is heading to China for the first time in 7 years at the end of this month, as New Delhi also contemplates resetting ties with Beijing following years of, a border standoff, which was the deadliest between the two nations. He's also traveling to Japan. So a sense is that India, has other options. It can diversify its trade to friendlier countries. You also have India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, who's in Moscow, potentially discussing what these Trump tariff threats mean, and also a discussion on buying more Russian oil is on the cards, we're told as well. So this may change, experts say, geopolitics in the global south. It may do the opposite of what President Trump is hoping, which is to get India to give in. Instead, it may push New Delhi closer to countries in the BRICS bloc and to other developing nations in South Asia and Southeast Asia.
All right, Neha, let's leave it there, and we'll see how things go, but certainly a worry in terms of US tariffs and the impact that it's having around the world, and the focus there on India. So Neha Poonia in Delhi talking to us there.